Hello, hello, hello. How are we? Hi, it's so wonderful to get started here. Hi there. Hi. Wonderful to see you joining. This is the first live stream in a very long time for me. So, my name is Martine. It's so great to have you here. I am streaming now across both Instagram and YouTube and Facebook all at the same time. And I just want to make sure that the technology works and everything. Can you hear me well? If so, definitely like pop a comment wherever you're coming in from, right? And let me know where you are right now. I am currently in Tulum in Mexico. It's so beautiful to see you. I see I see people that I also know, so that is wonderful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So, what is this live stream all about? Well, first and foremost, it is basically about just being able to vibe together a little bit, right? Just like connect a little bit because this is the first time in a long time that I've done a live stream. Some of you might be familiar with what I've done before a couple of years ago, where I actually did start Bloom Beyond Perfectionism, which was a program, a 12-week program. And then since then, I spent 2.5 years back home automating this program, really just creating it, going deep and going like into like a hermit mode kind of thing. So I was like going deep back home in Norway on my own. And, sometimes we go through seasons like that where we actually need to spend time on our own and actually just go inwardly and grow inwardly. In the society that we live in today, we're kind of like rewarded more so for the kind of outward growth, but it's so necessary to see that inward growth is also so necessary to be able to grow authentically outwardly. So it's beautiful to see people connect here. What we're going to cover in this kind of live stream here is first and foremost, I'm just going to introduce myself, reintroduce myself to those of you who might have known me from before, and also talk a little bit about Bloom Beyond, what we're doing here with Bloom Beyond, and also the platforms we're on, the intentional schedule that we have, so that you can kind of follow along on our journey as well. And then I'm going to give you some insight into the different podcasts and YouTube videos that we've released thus far. These are our main platforms. And then I also wanted to just have like a nourishment session, nourishment of the week kind of thing, since I'm going to do like live streams probably like every Sunday. I think that's my intention to connect with you. And I want to like create like some sort of like emotional freedom technique session directly for you. Okay. So for you, based on what comes up, if you guys know what you're going through, but also I actually picked a couple of cards, 2 cards here that came up before the live stream that I wanted to just like touch upon and also just like be able to create some sort of session based on these cards. It says rest and it's not a competition. And so I basically shuffled the cards and I intuitively picked one. And as we know, or might know, I don't know if you guys know, but basically then we're connecting with our subconscious mind and then we pick a card based on that. And this is what came up. So I'm going to like basically create something for that for you guys. Have a little session towards the end. So stay tuned for that. And then, yes, so also going to touch upon a Bloom Beyond tribe. So that is what you can actually then come on and join to be able to get closer in touch with me and what I do in terms of helping high performers create a life and business of freedom from perfectionism with the power of the subconscious mind, right? So that kind of brings me to the first thing that we're covering, which is okay. So me, who am I? You might know me from before. You might not know me from before. My name is Martina, Yes. And I am from Norway, but I mostly travel around the world whenever I feel like it, really. I'm very flowy with where I go and where I'm called to go. And this time I was called to go to Tulum. I am both a wedding photographer, so I've been doing that since I was like 13 years old. So I'm still doing that, and I absolutely love capturing moments of love and just using my creativity in that way. But I'm also more and more and more called to coaching and activating your truth beyond perfectionism, right? Beyond the conditioning that we have taken on from society, which kind of limit a lot of creativity and can actually stop you from actually doing what it is that you truly deep down would like to do or authentically express yourself as, right? And so I'm kind of doing both of these things now, and I love that. And I love being able to like express myself in different ways. So that's exactly what I'm doing as well. Just want to make sure everyone's connected here. Still, it seems like we are. I love it. I love it. Wonderful, wonderful. So, what I would say that I value, I personally value freedom and creativity. Those are my main values. And I would love to hear what your values are as well, for sure. And based on these values, I create my life and I create my business from that point, right? And yeah, I also, as I said, then, create programs and create kind of tailored experiences to be able to help high performers create a life and business of freedom from perfectionism, which right now it's Bloom Beyond Tribe and Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program and Bloom Beyond Mastermind as well. So those are the kind of three different things that I've got going on right now, basically, and that I kind of help people through, right? And so, yes, yes, yes. Right now, as I said, I'm in Tulum, and the best part about being here, I would say, like, is definitely like the hugs. I just love the warmth here. People are so genuine and so loving and kind, and I love that about this culture in Mexico. And yeah, as for like what I do here right now, I basically came here with the intention of just creating a lot of podcasts and YouTube videos because that is what I wanted to do and felt called to do right now. In terms of expressing myself, I wanted to express myself, through these platforms and be able to spread things from there. And as I said, I've been going from this like hermit mode to actually then expressing myself through these other platforms now and growing more outwardly, expressing more based on what I've created, right? It's lovely to see you guys connect. I love it. I love it. All right. And furthermore, side note, like if you want to get to know me, you probably would need to know my sun sign, which is Pisces. I'm a Piscean. So I go through like ebbs and flows. I'm very flowy. Plus, I'm a Cancer moon and a Cancer rising. So if you're into astrology, you know then that that basically means that I'm a full on water element sign, or like I have so much water elements in my chart, which makes me very, very flowy. I go with the and I'm extra sensitive to energies, right? And very intuitive about myself and others. And that helps me a lot in what I do as a coach and an entrepreneur as well, right? And it's how I basically go about my life. I just trust my intuition. And I only got access to that intuition more deeply once I overcame perfectionism. I would also say that these signs make me very spiritual, and I've come to realize that I do have a strong connection to spirit, and I've only recognized that once I bloomed beyond perfectionism, right? I was not able to connect with my intuition like down like years ago. Like I was not at all. I was so much in my head instead of my body that I totally disconnected. And you might connect with that. And if that's you, definitely let me know in the comments, right? And I would also say that with the of being a Pisces with Cancer moon and Cancer rising, I'm also quite romantic. Like I come off very romantic naturally, like my energy or something I've heard, and empathetic. And I also tend to have some people pleasing tendencies if I'm in my kind of lower, I don't know, energy, right? So I have learned to create Bloom boundaries for myself, which is also part of what I have included in the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program. Talking about Bloom boundaries and implementing that, setting the boundaries, and actually enforcing the boundaries as well. So lovely to see you guys joining. I love it. How are you? Amazing. And furthermore, so how did I then start creating Bloom Beyond? Well, Bloom Beyond was birthed out of a heartbreak, to be real. To be real, I went through a total kind of break. Like I was totally broken. And from that place of brokenness came a lot of insights and a lot of reflection, self-reflection. And I realized that one of the things that had to like overcome in my life was perfectionism. And so for a couple of years, really, I just like did my very best to overcome this perfectionism and begin doing what I wanted to do, what it is that I wanted to create, and really just overcome this pushing, proving, and pleasing tendency, right? And so from that place, I began exploring, traveling, and then creating 101 sessions, which then transformed over years now into what I call the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program and Bloom Beyond Mastermind. And that's what we do. We help high performers create a life and business of freedom from perfectionism with the power of the subconscious mind. So we're dealing with a subconscious mind. Before, I worked more with a conscious mind, being like, okay, so we're going to make a plan, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. But now it's more working with the subconscious through using subconscious tools or tools to be able to access your subconscious mind, which is the automatic mind, right? It's the automatic mind, which 95% of your habits are stored in your subconscious mind. And so if we try to like force ourselves to shift patterns in ourselves, right? It's not going to last. It's probably going to lead to self-sabotage and you're going to go back into older tendencies. See? And that's what I figured after years in coaching, that this is what I had to or was invited to basically learn about. So I spent years learning about the subconscious mind now, and not just learning about it, but actually using it on myself, using these tools that I've come to use now on myself, such as NLP and rapid transformational therapy and hypnosis, hypnotherapy, meditation, yoga, creativity, astrology, um, all of these, herbalism, even like working with the holistic self, right? The holistic self, and knowing that we're interconnected with each other. Oh, hi. How are you? You're such an inspiring person, Martina. I love you. Nice to see you again. Yes, it is nice to see you again as well. I love it. How are you? We definitely got to connect beyond this live stream too. Sending you so much light and love. And I'm so excited to be back on here and spreading the messages about perfectionism and overcoming it. So yes, where was I? I was talking about Bloom Beyond, right? And yeah, basically, I would say that I have created this kind of program now that I'm offering, but it's only really accessible to those who join the Bloom Beyond tribe, which is a tribe, which is a WhatsApp group, right? A Bloom Beyond WhatsApp group, and also a garden, which is like a platform where I kind of plant seeds in there, which you can consume, and it's like a monthly cohort kind of thing. So you can apply to join bloombeyond.com/apply to come into that group, into that tribe of other sunflowers, which are guests for approximately 30 days, and then bloomers, which are clients that, have enrolled in the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program and Bloom Beyond Mastermind. So we're all together in there to support each other, to nourish each other, and know that neither is above the other, and that we're on a similar journey, most of us, when it comes to perfectionism, right? There's always room for growth beyond perfectionism, regardless of where you are in your life and business. See? So that is that with regards to Bloom Beyond, and you know what we're offering with Bloom Beyond Tribe, Bloom Beyond Perfectionism, Bloom Beyond Mastermind, and you get to learn so much more about Bloom Beyond Perfectionism and Bloom Beyond Mastermind once you actually join into this exclusive community of sunflowers and bloomers, which has a 256 members limit as well. Okay, so we want to make sure to apply to join to be able to actually get in. But then obviously too, we are looking for certain entrepreneurs, coaches, creatives, people who actually really want to birth something and really have a calling or curious about something but are just feeling unable to do so, or that are hustling and grinding and working their ass off, right? If that's you, then either way, whether it's procrastinating or it's hustling and grinding your ass off, like both of those are basically projections of perfectionism. Truly, that's what it is. Both of them are birthed out of perfectionism and a manifestation of perfectionism as well. So we deal with that. That is what we deal with, right? I've been through both of those journeys of being stuck and hustling, stuck in a hamster wheel, right? Doing what I felt like I should do, create my business like I felt like I should do, being in the kind of manner or have certain behaviors in my relationships because I thought that I should have them, right? And I also procrastinated and was like falling into this kind of either fawn state or freeze state where I was just like freezing all the time. I was just freezing all of the time. Okay, I'm gonna see what Vidar says here. Thanks, I'm doing very well. I would recommend going for Bloom Beyond Perfectionism. I went for it about 2 years ago and was really happy with the program. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate you. And I think back to our journey together through the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program a lot. Over these past 2.5 years of being, or even 3 years now soon, of taking what I learned from my clients, from those that I helped, from the bloomers that I served, and looking at the patterns between them, I've created this 1 year program with dealing with the subconscious tendencies, right? And it's just so powerful. I'm so freaking proud of you first and foremost, of the fact that you actually have come to the point where you are now. And I remember still, like, I've gotten messages from like bloomers, over these 3 years where I have been, in hermit mode creating. I've received messages still from these clients that I helped, and they're like, it was so powerful, this program and what we did together. And that is what inspired me, right, to continue to nourish and create the program further, to be able to help even more people as well, to automate it even further than I did in the past. So I'm so glad that you're sharing that, Vidar. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited for the journey ahead. Absolutely. So, yes, let's see here. What's next up? So, now that we've covered a little bit about me and about what I value and Bloom Beyond and what I've created over the past couple of years, now let's chat a little bit about the platforms that we're on. So we're on YouTube. We have a podcast that's streamed across Spotify and Apple and YouTube. And then we have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and we're trying to basically just like post on YouTube and podcasts, right? And then we kind of spread the message from there based on those. So for full on nourishment and transformation, for you to really grasp the seeds that I'm planting through YouTube and podcasts, I would totally recommend that you subscribe to those platforms, because that's where the true value is. Like, of course, you get some value from the reels on Instagram or the posts there or whatever, but I would totally recommend that you subscribe on YouTube and podcast. And from there, you can apply to join the Bloom Beyond Tribe, which is the Bloom Beyond WhatsApp group and garden, which is free as well, right? Yet that is basically where you get to be part of, a coaching community where you actually get coached. You don't just sit around thinking about whether you're going to overcome perfectionism. You actually get some help there. And then from there, you can better understand the perfectionism of yours and how the subconscious mind can help you with overcoming it. And then the programs are there for you to actually do the freaking change. You know what I mean? Like that is what's so essential, to not just think that like, oh, if I just like one, if I just follow her on Instagram or YouTube or podcast, that's gonna overcome the perfectionism. Well, what makes a big change is that you actually show up for yourself and let yourself be vulnerable and kind of let a coach lead you and activate things through with you by asking you powerful questions, right? Asking you questions that truly can make you reflect and also begin to change patterns in your life and interrupt them, right? That is what this is all about. And also, not just that, but you also get all of these different tools working with the subconscious mind in a state of alpha and beta brainwave state instead of working with a beta brainwave. Did I say alpha and beta? I meant theta and alpha is that we're working with. And then when you are in a waking state right now, you're in beta, right? So what I mean is it's actually quite important to actually, you know, listen to your intuition around which coach you would choose to have because obviously there's so many freaking coaches out there, but you want to trust your intuition and also be really freaking specific about what is your actual obstacle in your life and business. Oftentimes it is perfectionism. That's what I see, at least. Is that is the obstacle to, actually create at the level that you want, to actually have connection authentically like you want, and to really step into your most bright, brave, and balanced self. See? So, yes, that's that. Also, for the schedule, like we're not too rigid at all. Like, that's not what I stand for. I stand for flexibility and flow. Those are my values. That's who I am. And I will go with the flow and tune into my needs, what it is that I need first to be able to serve best as a coach and a light worker. And then from there I can show up, but my intention is to do YouTube twice a week, so on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then podcasts from Monday to Friday. Now that does not mean that I sit Monday to Friday to do a podcast. I actually batch record, and I'm very flowy when I'm recording. I'm just recording one each at a time, and then I post them, right, weekly. So that's how I kind of like work right now. And I'm so grateful that you're here. So let's see. Vida also says here, I still am working with perfectionism and I have fallen a little bit back on old habits, and I might even consider doing it again or at least revisiting some of the lessons, tasks to get back on track. Yes, 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 Vida. I so admire you for just letting yourself be vulnerable and real with yourself about where you are in your journey when it comes to overcoming perfectionism, right? And as I said, and as you know too, Vidar, as a bloomer, as someone who's been part of the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program, we grow through the seasons of wilt, fall, root, rise, and bloom, which these are seasons that we grow through to really just return more and more and more into ourselves, the essence of who we are beneath that perfectionism conditioning. And I totally agree with you. Back 2, 3 years ago, when I first started Bloom Beyond Perfectionism, and I also coached you, we worked mostly with a conscious mind, not so much with a subconscious mind, right? We basically, in this new Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program, which again is a huge program for you to actually, shift patterns, and for you to actually do it at the subconscious level, being able to go through that is so much more powerful, if you ask me. I'm so proud of what I've created, or what's been created through me. I believe I feel like the universe just have called me to do this, and to serve in this way. And so definitely hit me up about that. And you can also go to bloombeyond.com/apply to basically get into the Bloom Beyond tribe as well. Yay! And I see you on the other side. And there, once we open the doors and everything, we've gotten a couple of requests already to join, and we're so happy about that and so glad. Yeah. that so many high performers are actually joining, and that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. It makes me so happy. Makes me so happy that we're slowly but surely shifting this world from a place of perfectionism to just being the light that we truly are, right? Beautiful, beautiful. So let's just now go and move forward. Yes, Vida, wonderful. I love it. Thanks. Great. So, furthermore, with the videos and the podcast that we launched thus far, you can go to Bloom Beyond YouTube on YouTube and subscribe and kind of see the different things that have, been published there, and also on Bloom Beyond podcast. So as I said, it's on both YouTube as a video podcast and on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify as well. So you got some choice there for sure. Basically, I would say that they are very easily accessible for anyone. So yeah, definitely look into that. And just to give you some insight into what we've covered this far on the YouTube and podcast on the YouTube channel, you got the video Welcome to Bloom Beyond about Bloom Beyond, Martine Sorthe, which is me, perfectionism and the subconscious mind. And this about video, this is what I would recommend you watch. It's a 2.5, 3 hour video, which goes deeply into the subconscious mind. Hello, great to see you joining. So basically, you basically then just watch that in full. You grab yourself a cup of tea or whatever you prefer, and you sit down and you actually watch that in full to have a better understanding of what perfectionism really is and what it is not, and what the subconscious mind is and what it is not. Because these things have some common misconceptions we want to cover, and we also wanted to get across what we're all about. So go watch bloombeyond.com/about, and you will see that longer video there, and you can also find it on the YouTube channel. Alrighty, and then we also have another video on basically 25 lessons learned in 25 years, because I actually just turned 25 this month, or let's see, it was in March. It was in March. And then I also posted all of the testimonials, or a lot of the testimonials at least, that I also have on the Bloom Beyond YouTube. So you can go check that out as well on the YouTube channel. As well as I covered how perfectionism destroys your productivity, what perfectionism really is, and why perfectionism kills creativity. Did I just say that? Might be. And meditation and EFT for perfectionism. So those you can find on the Bloom Beyond YouTube. And as for the podcast, we also have a similar one there starting off. Welcome to the Bloom Beyond podcast. Talked about perfectionism as a moving target, covered what done is and what done is not, what it means, right? And not your story as well. Buzzword we talked about. There's no how to, because a lot of perfectionists tend to be like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? And just like getting into this procrastination mode of just searching, right? How do I do this? How do I do that? And so talking about that. And then also plan B is nourishing plan A. That's another one. Just stop. And then Samaya, perfectionism anchor, and beta mode. So these are the different podcasts that we've published this far. So go and check that out. Okay, how are we guys doing? It's so lovely to see people still connecting here. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. How are you? It's so beautiful to see you joining. So, now towards the end, I thought that we could actually pick up these cards that I picked. Can you see? I'm going to show both of you on Instagram here and on YouTube and Facebook as well. It says rest and it's not a competition. Okay, so I picked these very intuitively, basically tapping into my subconscious mind through basically just a little hypnosis session and a meditation session. And so I believe that these are messages that came through that source energy, the universe, whatever you want to call it, wants to speak on a little bit right now. And also just give you a little bit of a nourishment session. I think I'm going to do emotional freedom techniques right now with you. It's a beautiful technique to be able to maybe release emotions around guilt for basically guilt for not showing up, or like, when you try to rest, right, and you don't actually feel like you're able to rest because you feel like you're comparing yourself to all these other people who are on their path, and you're like, how am I going to rest? Why should I rest? Because there's so much to do, right? That is a form of perfectionism. It truly is. So we want to release emotions, right? Emotions that are stuck that keeps you in this mode of comparing yourself to others, thinking that it is a competition, so that you're able to rest fully and completely, right? And I think that's good because it's right now, when I'm recording this, it's a Sunday. So maybe some of you are wanting to rest a little bit, or that could benefit you. I'm definitely going to do that after this session too, so that I can come back for the next week with my light and share it with you and help you and serve you. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is just basically talk about why it is that rest is something that is incredibly difficult for high performers with perfectionism to engage in, that is hard to rest for us. Oftentimes, it is hard to rest because you have been conditioned growing up that the only way for you to be worthy of anything really is through your productivity, through what it is that you produce, through what it is that you create, through how it is that you show up, through your image, right? And obviously, that doesn't really that's definitely not changing anytime soon with social media, and with social media being a platform that oftentimes can trigger these things in you, can trigger comparison, can trigger a sense of competition between you and others. If you do not make the space to rest, to come back to your body and realize that you are worthy beyond productivity, beyond what it is that you accomplish or not accomplish. Because if you are going to hold space and show up authentically, you want to feel rested. You want to be able to create, be a channel for creation to flow through you. You're not able to do that if you're stressed. You're not able to, because your mind is just thinking forward. What am I going to do next? What am I going to create next? What will people think of me if I do and say this and this thing, right? Does this speak to you? Let me know. Let me know. Because I feel that rest is something that is undervalued. And I've learned through my Bloom Beyond Perfectionism journey, right, of overcoming perfectionism, that rest is incredibly important for you to be able to be receptive to get ideas, right? Or to basically, I love the hearts, love it, to be able to actually rest, to have ideas come to you without you forcing yourself to get ideas. We have it upside down in society or in business or whatever. In life in general, we're like, oh, I want to create something. I want to accomplish something. I want to spread this thing. But then we're like getting blocks because obviously you can't do that if you're not rested, if you're not in a state of receptivity to receive ideas. This is the new world, right? This is the new world that we're entering in from this masculine. There's nothing wrong with masculinity, by the way. Everyone's got masculine and feminine energies, but it's just the type of masculinity that is more so about like hustle, 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 grind, 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 nonstop all the time to create and move forward in life, right? Shifting from that to being more receptive and going with the flow, receiving ideas and channeling, creating through that without attachment to the outcome. Right now, for instance, when I'm doing this right now, these live streams here, I'm not in my head at all. I'm not stressed, like I'm not feeling forced to say certain things. I breathe, I'm in connection with my breath in my belly, and I show up from that place of empowerment in my solar plexus. Okay, so let's now begin actually releasing the emotions around the guilt of resting, the guilt and the shame of stepping back and letting yourself rest. You want to release that guilt and that shame and that fear that you won't be able to accomplish anything or be worth anything if you don't produce, if you don't create. So let's do that. I invite you right now to just like come into a place of relaxation wherever you are. I don't know where you are. If you want, you can let me know in the comments so I know. But you might be seated in a chair, you might be on the go. The only thing I would say is that you would want to come back to this if you're driving, because you also don't want to engage with this right now and go into alpha and theta brainwave state when you're driving. But find yourself in a comfortable position and just relax your whole body, right? And what we're going to do is emotional freedom techniques. So, what we're doing then is we are actually tapping on meridians in the body or on the body, whatever you want to call it. So, meridians, what's that? Well, meridians work with the energy centers in the body along our spine. Wonderful to see you connect, that you're in bed. Wonderful, wonderful. What I invite you to do when you're doing this in bed is you sit up, right? You can cross your legs if you want to, or you can keep your legs on the floor as well, sitting on the edge of the bed. Wonderful. And right. And then what we're doing is we are going to tap on meridians in the body. So, meridians are connected with your chakras. So, your chakras, for those of you who might know, for those of you who might not, I will tell you, but basically it's the energy centers in the body that makes the energy flow. And if you're stuck in perfectionism, your energy centers oftentimes get blocked. You literally feel like you can't breathe fully. You're breathing from the chest up and not from the belly and up. And so we want to release those blocks through, for instance, emotional freedom techniques, working with your subconscious mind, because your body holds emotions and holds memories, right, connected to certain things and certain experiences. So let's do this, shall we? I'm going to invite you to just point to on these together with me, these different tapping points, so that you can follow along. So before we start, these are the tapping points. So on top of the head, right? You're using your two fingers here. And then beside on the eyes, under the eyes, right? Under the nose, on the chin, and then on the collarbones here as well. And then under the arm. You can also use here. So these are energy centers that actually can hold emotion and can hold memories in regards to the things that we're talking about. For those of you joining, beautiful to see you. So we're doing an emotional freedom technique session right now around rest and guilt around rest, to be able to release these emotions around that kind of guilt and rest, so that we can rest fully and completely. So let's do this 3 times around these different centers. And I'm just going to intuitively guide you, right? Whatever comes up, comes up. So take a deep breath in and breathe out. Feeling yourself getting more and more centered in your body right now. Take another deep breath in and out through your mouth or nose. And you can either close your eyes or keep them open, whatever you choose. You might keep them open first as we go, and then you can close them as you feel safe, secure, and right here, right now. All right, one more time, deep breath in and out. Great. Let's get started. Tapping on the head, on top of the head. Even though I feel guilt and shame around rest, even though that I feel guilt and shame around rest, about taking time off, about basically not doing anything, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Besides the eyes, even though I feel guilt and shame and a lot of emotions and pressure whenever I am not producing things, not creating things, not working hard, even though I feel that guilt, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I invite you to repeat after me and with me as well, and let emotions come up if they do come up. Then, under the eyes, even though I feel guilt and shame around rest, and I constantly compare myself to other people's journey and path creatively, romantically, in so many ways, right? Even though I feel this guilt, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Breathe under the nose, even though I feel guilt and shame for resting, for taking time off, for not doing anything, and constantly being consumed in what other people do, feeling like I should push, prove, and please. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Breathe. And whatever resonates, resonates. And you can repeat whatever resonates with you. Even though I feel guilt and shame around taking time off, around resting, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Wonderful. Even though I feel guilt, I feel shame around rest, around the journey that I'm on, and that I feel behind sometimes, even though I feel this. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Wonderful. Even though I feel guilt and shame around rest, whenever I take time off, I feel shitty about myself. And you can say whatever comes up for you. Whenever you rest, what it is that you feel, you can say that, even though I feel shitty when I rest. I feel like I shouldn't rest. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Wonderful. Breathe. Center yourself, center your energy, and just feel that space. Whatever you felt or didn't feel is okay. Acknowledging that you just took some time for yourself to tap on your energy centers to align the energy and begin to see that you are worthy of rest, that you are worthy of showing up authentically on your path, right? In your time, trusting that you are exactly where you're meant to be in your journey right now because you are, right? You truly are. And oftentimes you can't see it until you look in hindsight. You arrive at some place and you can look back on your journey and you can begin to connect the dots. And you can see that your journey is so beautiful, right? Thank you so much for joining. It's so beautiful to have you here. Okay, so that was a little bit of a session. As I mentioned as well, you could do this several times the way that we did. You can do it from here to here to here to here to here to here to here. It's very simple. And the pattern is even though, then you fill in the blank. I feel this, I experience this, I go through this, I deeply love and accept myself. That's the pattern. That's how you kind of go about it. And you can also feel free to say whatever you want to feel. It helps a lot of high performers who oftentimes live in their head. So if you do live in your head a lot, analyze a lot of things, you read a lot of books, trying to like get ahead, trying to like do things to heal yourself, right? Or whatever, or overcome certain blockages in your life and business, emotional freedom techniques is great because you can come back to center. So that is an emotional freedom techniques, and that is something that I have incorporated a lot into my Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program, which you can go to bloombeyond.com/apply to come in to the Bloom Beyond tribe. Wonderful. Hi, thanks for the meditation. It's too late and I should sleep. Yes, wonderful. And it's so beautiful that you came in and you listened to this right now before sleep, because what happens is when you do meditation or some sort of emotional freedom techniques and working with your subconscious mind, is you go from beta brainwave state, which happens when you're talking a lot and doing things in the world in the wake state. You go into alpha and theta brainwave state, and when you're sleeping, you go into delta brainwave state, which is deep sleep. And when you're dreaming, you're in imagination. You can engage with your subconscious mind. That is why it's so powerful to do this in the morning and in the evening as well. So, as I mentioned, I've incorporated all of this and more into the offerings that I have. So, you can go to bloombeyond.com/apply to come into that group of bloomers in there, both guests and clients of mine all together. And together we are spreading truly, truly, truly the light and the love and coming back to our brightest, bravest, and most balanced selves, right? Beautiful, beautiful. So, right now, I just invite you to center yourself, to reflect upon what came up for you, maybe during the little session that we did. And I'm looking so much forward to connecting with everyone further on this beautiful journey that we're on Bloom Beyond YouTube, Bloom Beyond Podcast, and also Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and Facebook, like all over the place. Definitely reach out and connect. I would love to do that to get to know you even better. Let's see what Vida says here as well. Grateful to experience this today. Love the exercise. I'm so glad to hear that, Vida. It's beautiful to have you here. Thank you so much for sharing the time and energy with me. And I will see you also apply to the Bloom Beyond tribe. Even though that I know that you did Bloom Beyond Perfectionism before, which was 2.5 years ago, which now the program obviously has evolved a lot. And it's like a 1 year intensive program commitment with a coach now. And I truly believe in long term coaching experiences now, meaning like a year is like the minimum for me now to work with someone, because I truly want to see you, hear you, and work with you in your life to see the freaking changes and to hold you accountable in that process, right? And to actually also work with the subconscious mind and see that changes happen at the subconscious level. So that's why the program and everything is structured in that way, with long-term commitments with long-term people. And I know that you're that, Vida, as well as everyone else in here too. I'm sure that that is something that you would love to explore. So go to bloombeyond.com/apply to join the tribe. And from there, you can explore other paid options from there to truly invest into your growth beyond perfectionism. Sending you so much light and love. And I will see you next time. Bye.